Three common mistakes that I see with riders with their motocross, enduro, dirt bike training and fitness. So the problem is that training is not training. There's all different types of training and exercise that you can do with the time that you put aside, whether that's with what you do at home or whether that's what you do at the gym. But the problem is only some of those things are going to get you the best results. Some of those exercises, some of the training that you do is going to get you a better return on the bike than what other exercises are. And so the problem is that number one, you obviously want to make sure that the training and the effort that you're putting in is helping you to improve your riding. So there's certain strategies that work better than others. But the second problem that comes from that is that there's a frustration and a demotivation that comes from not seeing progress with your training. Now, if you're someone who's not doing any training at all, then you deserve to have no results because you're not putting any effort in. But it's worse when you are putting the effort in, you are making the time to train, you are doing the exercise, you are going to the gym, you are getting out in the shed and trying to make an effort, and then not seeing progress. Because if you're putting the effort in, you deserve to get the results and you deserve to see progress. So what I'm going to give you in this video is the top three common mistakes that I see with riders in their training. So hopefully you can pick them up now and correct them and make a few simple and easy changes. First thing that I notice with riders is they don't do enough strength work, okay, or they don't do the right type of strength work. So with your bike, you've got a bike that weighs about 100 kilos. You've got your body weight on top of that, which might weigh 80 kilos. That's a total of 180 kilos. So you need to be able to wrestle around 180 kilos for the length of the race that you're doing. So if you're doing a motocross race, it might be 20 minutes. If you're doing an enduro, it might be 3, 4, 5 hours. So the stronger you can get yourself, the lighter you can make the bike feel. If you can make the bike feel lighter, you're going to use a lot less energy when you go and ride. So, common mistakes that I see with building strength is, number one, riders won't do any strength at all. Okay, they think that if they lift weights or they try and get strong, they're going to get too big and bulky and it's going to hurt their riding and they're going to get arm pump. Second thing that I see is riders will do body weight training. Okay, now body weight training is better than doing nothing. But the problem is if you're only training with your, say, 80 kilos of body weight, doing push-ups with 80 kilos, sit-ups with 80 kilos, squats with your 80 kilos of body weight, there's a big gap between your 80 kilos of body weight and the 180 kilos that we're trying to wrestle on the weekend. So although it's better than doing nothing, it's still a big gap between both of those. The other problem that I see with building strength is that riders will use the wrong strength exercises. Okay, and so this is what I did when I was racing is I was like, all right, I get sore legs here, so this muscle's sore. So I'd go to the gym and then I'd train those specific muscles, okay? And the problem with that is that's not how the body works on the bike, okay? Your carbs don't work on their own, your quads don't work on their own, your hamstrings don't work on their own, your core doesn't work on its own. Your whole body works together as a system, together. So if we're training all the muscles separately when we ride, it's just not gonna be the most effective way to help us with our riding and racing. So what should you be doing? What's the best way to build strength? Use multi-joint movements, okay? Movements that get the whole body working together with a barbell, okay? So movements that you can use are like deadlifts with a barbell, back squats with a barbell, bent over rows with the barbell, overhead presses with the barbell, bench press with the barbell. The reason these movements are so good is because they get your whole body working together as one unit, which is what happens on the bike, but we can also load that movement up with the bar, okay? We can put weights on rather than just using your body weight. So that's the most common thing that I see, number one. Second common thing that I see is training versus exercising. Okay, so there's a difference between those two. So we'll start with exercising. I'll flip that around. Start with exercising. Exercising is purely where you just have a period of time where you're trying to get your heart rate up, you get a bit of a sweat happening, maybe you're a bit sore the next day. Okay, that defines exercise. It's any type of movement that gets you moving, you get a bit of a sweat happening. Now, that's great for, like, if your primary goal is just to lose weight and that's it, you don't care about performance, you don't care about fitness, you don't care about how you feel on the bike, you just want to lose weight, then that's great. Okay, like you can do things like F45, you can do CrossFit, you can join a boot camp, all of that sort of stuff. Any type of, circuit training, anything that just gets you moving. Now, training, okay, is a little bit different because training is based on performance. Okay, training is based on, okay, what is my sport? And then it's reverse engineering from there and going, okay, what are the things I need to do in my training, in my sessions, in my fitness to help me to get better at my specific sport? Okay, so it's like if you have a job, right? Now let's be a silly example. Let's say you're working at McDonald's, right? And you're working on the front counter. To be able to work on the front counter, I'm sure there's a process or training that you go through to be able to work at the front counter. You learn how to use the computer, you learn how to process sales, you learn how to take payments, you learn maybe how to do refunds, you learn how to delete things off the order, add things on the order. If you don't want pickles and onions, they know how to teach you how to be able to do that to get you ready for that role. So if your role is to work on the computer, okay, and to take orders at the front, they're probably not going to train you on how to flip hamburgers or how to do the fries or how to be able to, run the store. Okay, they're not going to give you things on that. They're going to give you training specific for the role so that you can do what you need to do. And it's the same thing with training. What a lot of riders do is, if we use our McDonald's example, is they learn how to do everything. They're trying to learn how to do everything. I'll try and learn how to sweep the floors. I'll try and learn how to do the burgers. I'll try and learn how to do the fries. I'll learn how to clean the machines. I'll learn how to do the drive-through. Okay, I'll learn how to manage the store. And then they're going, shit, why am I still not good at the front counter? Okay, why am I still not seeing improvements at the front counter? Why can I still not do this job properly? And that's because they didn't have training. They're just doing a whole bunch of everything. So training is where you're narrowing down your focus on what you're doing with your training time, specific for the goal, specific for the sport that you're working towards, okay, rather than just general movement. So that's the difference between those two. So it's having a program, okay, having something to be able to follow. Third thing that I see, mistake that riders make with their training is they don't pay attention to nutrition. They just focus their attention on the training. And the thing is with nutrition is when you focus all of your attention on the training, that's one component of performing better on the bike. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good the training is and how strong you get and how fit you are, because if you haven't got the right nutrition and the right fuel going in, you're not going to perform. So like if you have a Tour de France rider cycling, okay, they pay a huge amount of attention to how much food's going in and how many carbs they're having and when they're having their food and how they're fueling over the tour. And the reason they do that is because it doesn't matter how much cycling they've done in the lead up. It doesn't matter how many 5, 6, 7 hour days of cycling they've done in the lead up. If their body doesn't have fuel, that's not going to matter anyway, okay? Because it's like your bike. You can send your motor to pro circuit. It doesn't really matter. If you're not putting fuel in the bike or you're putting shitty quality fuel in the bike, it doesn't matter how good the work that was done to your motor. The fuel is the thing that's helping it to happen, okay, to make everything work. And that's one of the common things I see with training is I see a lot of riders that just focus all their attention on the training. It's like, I've got to do better with this and better with that. And that might be true. But at the end of the day, there's also that fueling system that is important as well to make sure all that stuff that you've worked hard for is going to show on race day. And so what does that mean? It just means having a bit more of a strategy with how you fuel yourself during the week and also how you fuel yourself when you're out on the bike on the weekend, rather than doing all the fitness work and all the training work and the strength work and then hitting the wall after the first hour of an enduro or the first 5 or 10 minutes of a motocross race.